Afternoon TV.
Hello, good afternoon. You're welcome to Democracy Day Special on Immaculate TV. I am Arawi Adedapo. I'm with me today this afternoon to discuss democracy in Nigeria so far and also to celebrate MKO Abiola's death over 25 years ago. Is to my left, I have Dikin Olalere. He's the National Vice Chairman of ABGAS Southwest. Welcome to our studios this afternoon, sir.
Thank you very much.
That's so pleased to have you. Yes,
it's a pleasure.
Yes, and to my right, I have the CEO of Lead Path Global Resources Limited, also a Senior Special Assistant Media to Ogun State Chairman, Police Community Relations, PCRC. Is running for the House of Reps in 2023. His name is Comrade Kunle Shodipo. Comrade Kunle Shodipo, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. So good to be here on Democracy Day.
Yes, thank you for coming all the way from Abeokuta.
Thank you so much.
I can assure you the afternoon is going to be wonderful. So let me start with you. The Democracy Day celebration today. This year we are celebrating 2 Democracy Days. We just had to do May 29 and now we have June 12. There's a lot of excitement in the air about the declaration for today, recognizing today, because back in America you have Martin Luther King Day. And you know, he was somebody that fought for the freedom that some people are enjoying today, and they declared it. So even before this announcement, I was one of the people, I think a week to the announcement or 2 weeks ago, and I was saying that, how come we haven't declared June 12 officially? Some states do it, some states don't do it. I mean, in US, and I was citing the example, and now the president shortly after announced June 12. So how impressive is this from your point of view?
Well, to be sincere with you, this is a day that belongs to all Nigerians. This is the day that we all have been yearning for quite some time to be declared our Democracy Day, because on that day everybody came out, notwithstanding our ethnic background, religious beliefs. Everybody came out and we all voted for a man, Chief Moshood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola, and it was one election that we used option A for, and it was so certain. It was everywhere. The euphoria was so high. And now today being celebrated as Democracy Day has been now sanctioned by our Commander-in-Chief, President Muhammadu Buhari. Personally, I want to tell you that I'm so happy. It's a good day now to know that even the man is dead, but in his death, we can now say democracy has triumphed.
Democracy has triumphed. Can we say that this is truly the symbol of democracy, and this was when true democracy visited Nigeria?
Well, why I might disagree to a little bit of extent is the fact that they never allowed us to experience the euphoria of what we got June 12, 1993.
Of what the people worked for.
Yes, what people worked for, what we wanted. It would have been so sweet if the late MKO Abiola got to that seat. No matter what would have happened, it would have been so sweet, because Nigerians voted for him. Let me bring something in here. Okay, you know, even then, it was a Muslim ticket. Yet Nigerians felt that, well, forget about religion, forget about ethnicity, like he said. We all wanted a change, real change, democracy, and we got it. But unfortunately, it was truncated, and that is the sad aspect of the whole thing. If this man had been allowed, then when you look at the reasons, the flimsy reasons why they did not allow him to get there, you weep inside, even when we are remembering this man today, and that advent of our surge into real democracy. That was our choice, the choice of all Nigerians, regardless of where you come from. The man who contested against Abiola from Kano, Tofa was from Kano, he lost in Kano. If you look at it, telling you that, well, Nigerians, that's what they really wanted. So the sad aspect of it is that We did not allow that. Because if we had allowed the man to get to that seat, then we build on that. Probably Nigeria would have gone further than we are today. All the same, all right, we'll still commend the fact that it is coming now, that thing is recognized. But again, as we recognize it too, we must also be very wary of what the law is.
Okay.
You know?
So as an elder statesman,
Right.
you witnessed what happened
we
throughout
did.
the situation
We did.
firsthand. You had the first-hand experience of it. And
I was a player.
oh, exactly.
Yeah, in the
so
whole system.
that's why I'm directing this question to you.
Right.
So how much of what could have been is still playing up on your mind since that time up till now? How much of what could have been? Because there's so many people that just still feel this regret and this pain.
Right.
How much of what could have been from the incidents even up till today?
Yeah, what we felt was that, you see, the advent of the military intervention thereafter, after the June 12, 1993 thing, wouldn't have come up at all. And there was a lot of setback that we had after that period. Though it was not too long, but still, it set us back. It reminded us of this military dictatorship. There are a lot of friends that we lost during that struggle. There's no way you can just wipe that out. All right? Like I said, I was a participant, active one, in the June 12th thing, and after the June 12th, all the demonstrations we had and all that, we lost good friends. In all aspects, we lost good friends. You cannot forget that. But again, when we now look back, like the day, like today, we just looked at, well, those are the sacrifices for gain of democracy. For now, whatever you want to say, we've had 19 years, all right, of civilian government. We are still approaching democracy, no doubt about that, but we have had 19 years of civilian government. It has not been that good. You know, the first time we had intervention, less than 6 years. We got independence 1960 by 66. As at that time, we were also grown up, we knew what happened. 66, it was truncated. Thereafter, we had a lot of military interventions that had drawn us back. But this dispensation, and I think we'll still believe that it was a breakthrough, that June 12, 1993. The man who came thereafter, after all the rumbles and all, could not stay too long before he handed over. And since then, we had 19 years run. So I think that's something that is worth celebrating. Yes.
Talking about something that is worth celebrating, comrade. I look at something and I found out that, you know, if you go to South Africa, the person that really suffered for the freedom they had,
Right.
at the end of the day, he matched the president.
Yeah.
So, and you see the kind of development we have there now compared to, let's put in quote and unquote. But if after all the problems that happened on June 12, if we still had Moshood Abiola as the president, then would things be different in terms of development also in Nigeria by now?
Yeah, well, going by the promises, and you know, it's different from when you are campaigning and you're saying this is what I will do, this is what I'll do, and even before your campaign, what you have already started doing something. That was the case of Abiola. You go around all our institutions, you go everywhere in the country, you will see the hand of MKO Abiola everywhere. So without any doubt, if the man had been allowed, you know, to rule this country, I want to tell you that Nigeria would have even gone further than South Africa, because this was a man that was very brilliant. Like he said he was an active player. So let me call myself at that time a spectator, because I was just growing up that time.
Yes.
But I saw the passion. My dad, my parents, everybody, you know, as a secondary school boy then, I was asking my dad, who is this man? Who is MKO Abiola? And my dad would tell me, one MKO Abiola, one, you know, one Moshood Abiola. And the passion was so much. And my dad would tell me, Abiola did this, Abiola had done that. And then I asked the question, is he the president? So I saw the fact that this man had already done so many things without being given the power. So that maybe that was where the thing came from, and some people decided that this man should not be there. Probably if this man gets there, a man that's been performing wonders before being given the power, so what is he going to do? It's just quite unfortunate that we could not have the man.
Is this the announcement of this day as an official day to celebrate his achievements and what it meant to Nigeria? Is it an official concession from the government to say we were wrong, the people that went against this man were wrong, and why are they not coming out with an apology? Why are they hiding behind the celebration? So can you tell us something?
Well, you know, I read something on WhatsApp recently, and talking about the government, the person in charge then that annulled that election, and saying they would have killed me. So many things circulating. But let me be sincere with you. If you have been a little bit into politics, you understand that there are so many unforeseen some forces that you cannot see truly. Are you getting me? So if this government is now indirectly apologizing, because to me this has been the decision wonderful. When I got the announcement, I was like, wow, are they playing politics or are they being sincere? But whatever it is, the fact still remains that official, unofficial, whatever it is, something that ought to be done has been done. Are you getting me now? It's something that should have been done by even someone which a lot of us that had expected would have done it, but they didn't do it. But somebody now has taken it up and he has done it. So personally, I give him 100%. I give him 100% on that alone. I wouldn't want to go into the motive behind it. Yeah.
Chairman, sir, I would like to put you on the spot concerning the motive behind it. Some people say it's politicking, it's trying to look for votes from the Southwest in the 2019 elections. And some people have also said, why do you have to bring political reasons to everything, every good thing that has to be done? So where do you really fall in this argument?
You see, unfortunately for the president that did it now, he has so many explanation to give to Nigerians. No doubt. He has so many. Number one, he was in the government of Abacha. He was the chairman of the PDTF, don't forget that.
Yes.
This is a man that also told us that Abacha government was a very good government. Abacha never stole. Don't forget that this same president said that. Abacha is not a looter, he has never stolen, and all that. So when you look at it from that background, that he was in that government, number one, who really truncated this thing that we are talking about. Number two, having become president, he has spent 3 good years. Election is a year now. If you got there, if that is intrinsic, the first thing, if you have it in mind, the first thing you do, if I were the president and I have it in mind that I want to really honor this man, as soon as I get to government, all right, the first thing I will do is to reverse what has been done. Nigerians would have been more happy than election is just about 10 months from now or 8 months from now. Then that's why people are saying that it is political. When you look at the antecedent of the man, the very fact the timing was determined definitely is wrong. It would have taken more credibility if as soon as that government came in 2015, that one of the first I saw,
and exactly when we have already celebrated the Democracy Day.
Yeah, then you now come out and say, okay, we are going to celebrate in the next 2 weeks again, June 12th, because June 12th is the real Democracy Day in this country. The man is dead, no doubt, but we are going to restore that honor. Then in that case, definitely Nigerians will not be arguing like they are arguing now. We have reasons to argue and say, well, it has ulterior motives. It's quite unfortunate, but that's Nigeria for you. Then I want to, again, go further to talk about the MKO thing that he was talking about. All right? When you look whether his government would have taken Nigeria forward and could have been better than what we have now. All right? One reason why many of us stood by the man was that, don't forget the background where Abiola was coming from. A capitalist per se. Somebody who works with this Western world, US and everything. A lot of people even tagged him to be stooges, to be a stooge to those people. Abiola, within a twinkling of an eye, changed. Became an apostle of the masses. Talked about repatriation. Talk about how the Western world have cheated us, the blacks, and then said, well, I want to become a president to liberate my people.
Now, I'll cut you short on that quickly.
Right.
We're going to go for a short break,
Right.
and when we come back, we're going to continue the discussions on democracy in Nigeria and what the death of MKO Abiola means for every one of us. Please stay with us. Talking about Democracy Day special. I've been with the National Vice Chairman of ABGAS Southwest and also Comrade Kunle Shodipo, and we've been talking about the Democracy Day, what happened on June 12, 1993, and what it means to Nigeria today. Chairman, sir, let me come back to you. You both rightly mentioned something that on that day, in that period, everybody forgot about where they came from, everybody forgot what their ethnicity was, everybody forgot what their surname was, and they came together to unify behind one man that everybody believed was going to deliver the dividends of democracy to Nigeria. Now, this is my question. Since then, we've seen a lot of divide among ethnicity, among religion, and everything in Nigeria since then, and it has not helped us to be able to foster the unity we want. Yes. Was that day the official death of hope in Nigeria?
Well, it seems to be like that. Like I was saying before we went on break, I was trying to tell us the antecedent of Abiola and why Nigerians rallied behind Abiola. Why Nigeria never bothered that it was even a Muslim ticket. The vice president was Muslim, Abiola himself was a Muslim. I was telling you where he was coming from. For somebody to just have a change of heart, a capitalist for that matter, known for his business and all that, or most of his business is linked with the Western world. Then this man came out and decided to do a battle with the Western world because of us, because of the blacks, because of Nigerians, talking about repatriation, talking about the slavery, the need for them to compensate Nigerians and all that. So everybody saw him as somebody who is out to liberate this country. All right? Abiola is such a person that never thought of ethnicity. All right? Even though he was a Muslim, he always remembers that he got his background from a Christian school, the Baptist High School in Abeokuta. All right? And he always says it, that, well, whatever he became, as at the time he was alive, that foundation he can never forget. So as he does for the Muslim, he does for the Christian. As he does for the Hausas, the Fulanis, the whatever, the Yorubas, he does for everybody. So that was a fair man, and everybody rallied behind him. So I will conclude that if that government had come in, we would have had hope. And this, where we find ourselves today with this ethnic divide, religious divide, would have been narrowed down, because it would have laid an example of how to be one's brother and sister's keeper. But unfortunately, like you said, it was a death and a nail on that kind of hope that we had. Don't forget that it was hope 1993 then.
Wow.
You know, so we had hope And then we saw that it was coming.
It was coming.
But again, you cannot forget that there are forces who will not want such a liberation. And that's what played out after the death of Abiola. We went back to our old
ways of doing
things.
And the mentalities.
I must dominate my
kinsmen.
My kinsmen
Must
and
be
all.
there.
So that's why we will say that a death nail was not on the hope and the coffin of this
was officially presented.
broad-mindedness that we had in Nigeria, which would have, Abiola's regime would have been a foundation upon which everybody would have been built. And then if the foundation is firm, it will be difficult for you to now play the ethnic politics
cards on it.
Right.
Thank you very much. So let's say something here. Where do we go from here? We've rightly said there was a death of hope, but at least one thing we know is that hope bounces back.
Yes.
And hope always has the ability of resurrecting. Where do we go from here? We have a situation on our hands 25 years later. How do we solve these ethnic problems that is bedeviling our democracy from moving forward?
Well, I think from now, I think what we should talk about now is the will. The will now to go back to the drawing board. Now, Abiola started from somewhere. From what has been said now, this was somebody who was a capitalist. And all of a sudden, he decided to now, fight for the people, for the masses. He must have seen something. Now we have a lot of capitalists. Again now, they are everywhere. Fighting for their own pockets. Trying to do what will benefit their own people, their immediate family. So now, I think the will now we're talking about, I want it to start from the masses now. Are you getting me?
Yes. Because
we have a lot of people who have taken advantage of what somebody has labored for. A lot of them came in after the incident, they emerged, the president, and, people, the hope. We said we buried the hope. Probably I would say people were still hoping. In 1999.
No, whatever is buried can be done.
Exactly.
Yeah, it can be done.
You get it now. So now we say, okay, maybe when this person gets there, this will happen. When this person gets there, this will happen. I want to commend Nigerians. Nigerians, we're so the resilience was there, and we are still. Are you getting me now? So now we need this will to start from ourselves. When this government came in, they said change begins with me. Are you getting me now? Well, at a point I was like, change, why don't we start from the head? If change is going to start, it should be from the head. But okay, let's leave that one now. As followers, as youths, when can we stop parading ourselves as thugs, as criminals, elements that these people now, whenever election is coming, that is when they know that they have to give you scholarships. That is when they can give you whatever they want to give you. And they knew that all these things are supposed to be in place. When they were in school, most of them went to school on scholarships. Are you getting me?
Yes.
I don't want to mention name. Most of them, all these are leaders, they went to school on scholarship. They studied abroad scholarship, and they removed all these things because they don't want to build the youth. Because they know that if these youth, if they have their access to all these things, they will know what it takes, to step into these positions. Now, they have now reduced our youth to talks that they give whatever they want at any time. Now they will now tell them, go and fight for me. I'm your chairman. I want to go for Senate. I want to go for this. Then the youth also who are not, I wouldn't know. So now, the will, we should now, we want to take our country back. Not by violence. Not by being talks or whatever. Now we want to do the right thing.
Are you a part of the Take It Back movement?
Yeah, I wouldn't know if there is a Take It Back movement anywhere, but inside of me, I know we've got to take it back. Okay. Now, our parents, they have sent us to school, they have trained us. I pity our parents in Nigeria. I give it to all parents in Nigeria. Now, it's not easy sending your child to the primary, to the secondary, to the higher institution, and the guy is done. He has no job, he's back home. They are still feeding him. They've gone to get cooperative to pay tuition fees and all that. There are no scholarships, nothing. And the parents are still there. These are still the civil servants who are not being paid their salary. They are being, their monuments are not, and they are still struggling. Are you getting me now? Yes. Now, when these children are now supposed, to give back or to take care of their parents, so to say, they are still being taken care of.
No, as a comrade, I want you to answer this.
Yeah.
They say once a soldier, always a soldier.
Yeah.
In 1999, we had former military become the what's his name, civilian president of the country, and now we still have another ex-military. How has electing him, you know, ex-military people, hampered the growth of democracy of Nigeria?
Well, you know, like you have said, once a soldier, excuse me, it's always a soldier. It has really not helped us, because at some point, the tendency, the blood, you know, of course, it reflects in their actions, especially in their decisions when it comes to the way they relate with unions, labor, and when it comes to, you know, what the masses should really get from democracy. Let me take General Olusegun Obasanjo, who fortunately also comes from Abeokuta in Ogun State. We call him the Ebora of Ogun. That is what we call him. Well, now when he came in, you know, most of us were like, okay, good, this man is also our own, and we believe that this will happen. But to my surprise, you know, I will tell you, this man told us then that it's not for Abeokuta people alone, it's for everybody. In fact, the question, go and look at our roads in Abeokuta. A lot of us believe that Abeokuta should look more than the way it's looking now. Are you getting me now? Unfortunately, the present governor is trying in terms of road construction. Are you getting me? Now, we had expected a lot of changes. But then, look at the clampdown on media. Look at the clampdown on you. So many things happened then. If I could remember, there was this artist that released a song then, Nigeria Jaga Jaga. That was Idris Abdul Karim. Yes, and you so many things that happened that it is this and this and that. But maybe at that time, the military felt that okay, a civilian, a core civilian could not handle Nigeria, and they felt, okay, let them still be changing military uniform to Agbada, and let's see how it goes. But somebody came in, don't forget, at a point. Somebody came in, and in person of Goodluck Jonathan. Yes. Goodluck Jonathan was never a military man. Am I correct, sir?
Yes.
Was never a military man. And you look at his antecedents, and when he got there, I said, okay, this person has no military whatever. Right. So let's see how he's going to do it. But we saw what happened then. Are you getting me? At that point, he was coming up, but all of a sudden, some things went wrong also. Are you getting me? That was when we started hearing a lot of people, you see people, you know, in their accounts, huge sum of money, so many cases of corruption here and there. Are you getting me? But in his own way, he tried his best. Are you getting me? But the point now is that let us see, what we need is a democratic man, somebody who understands the needs of the people, who has conscience, a conscience man.
A conscience man. Now let me finish with you, Chairman, sir. I want you to tell us, because it seems as if money and democracy have been married in this country. You also said back then in 1993, he mentioned that Abiola did this, Abiola did that, but we know he was a billionaire by our standards. So can somebody who doesn't have the fronts, can he still have hope in today's democracy? And what are your thoughts on today's democracy? Because my producers are beginning to call.
All right. Well, let me say this. Hope for Nigeria. Let me start from there. That was the question you asked my brother here, Shodipo. Yes. You see, we definitely have hope. And if that hope will be realized, we must all come together to know that we have no any other country but Nigeria. And we must also see the need to build this country. Coming back to this idea of money and politics, definitely Nigerian politics has been monetized, and it might be difficult for somebody without money to even get to position. But again, it might not be that difficult if the values are gotten right. Like I've said, if we all believe, or I will look at the antecedents of whoever is presenting himself for positions. All right, if we look at the antecedent, I said the problem of Nigeria is both the leadership and the followership. Let the followers too be able to look, check, and be sure that this man has an antecedent. If we follow him, he will take this country to a greater height. Once we all realize that it's our country, it has to be built. We don't have to run to the US, to the UK to enjoy that. Let us stay home and build our own country to the future of our own people that are coming back. So these are the things we must think of to bring this country forward.
All right, let us stay home and build our nation.
Yes.
Our democracy may not be what you have expected, but with time we can build what we want.
Right.
This has been the Democracy Special on Immaculate TV this afternoon, and I've been with the Vice National Chairman of ABGA Southwest, Dikin Olalere. Thank you very much for coming to Immaculate Studios.
Thanks
and also to my right, I've had Comrade Kunle Shodipo, who is running for 2023 House of Reps. So good luck to you.
Thank you so much. It's been wonderful. It is wonderful here. Thank you so much.
This has been the Democracy Special from Immaculate Studios. I am Ara Yadedapo. Please do stay with us and join us on the next program.